Disinformation Tracker's got another post about Asmongold. Okay. Apparently, he said Asmongold says he supports killing innocent people in other countries in order to steal their resources. Literally, he said that. I found the video on Reddit. His fans brigaded to hide the post. But why? They call him base, but then they try to hide his psychopathy, right? And one of the things is like wherever there's like a clip that makes him look bad, they do actively auto downvote that stuff pretty hard. They clamp on that shit pretty hard. But I do think it's really fun. This tweet is very funny, or at least his take here is very funny. The reason why it's very funny is not because like, oh my God, I can't believe he said something so unhinged again. He does it every day, right? And many people are completely oblivious to it, which I pointed it out. I said, it's very interesting whose takes get negatively boosted and which takes get auto downvoted on Reddit. And since a lot of slop tubers are lazy Reddit plagiarizers, the entire slop market is a clear ideological slant. But what I do find very funny about this take, you know what's crazy? XQC doesn't want to react to him no more. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Maybe there's a kick mafia that actively bots any kick streamer / anytime a kick streamer appears on other streamers' channels, as a matter of fact, and they don't want to go after one another that aggressively.
Cuba's days are numbered. Colombia isn't going to be doing this anymore. Okay, yeah, I can see there's definitely a trend here. You specifically said you'd be against foreign intervention and nation building. Why have you switched positions? Well, I'm generally against it, but there are some instances where I'd be okay with it. It's pretty simple. Like
and what that means is if Trump is doing it, then I'm for it. Yeah. What he's described, what this is called being a flip-flopper who is inconsistent other than being consistently up Trump's dick. Okay. So that's the problem here. I'll give you an example from my own personal background, my own personal experience. Like, for example, when the Democrats do something good that is in line with my worldview, it's not very often, but what they do sometimes get something right, I will say this is good. I'll have a restrained but reasonable, tempered response to it. And I'll say, Joe Brandon, you did the damn thing. I'm proud of you. Like when he pulled out of Afghanistan, right? But when a Democrat does something that I find to be morally repugnant, abhorrent, like a genocide, for example, right? Israel doing a genocide in Palestine, I will openly call it out because I am not regime pilled in the same way that Asmongold is, right? So at this point, the only consistency that you hear from the likes of Asmongold, and not just Asmongold, but he's basically just a vessel for MAGA. Whenever I criticize him, I know a lot of people go, oh my God, why are you attacking Asmongold? But like, this is me doing hogwatch, baby. This is something that I used to do all the goddamn time. And you guys used to love when I used to do hogwatch, and this is no different. So when he has a take, it's usually just like the rest of the hogs, completely and utterly inconsistent, very hypocritical, and oftentimes super dumb. So let's take a look. So he says, yeah, I said no to interventions, except some interventions I'm on board with.
There are some instances where I'd be okay with it. It's pretty simple. Like, I think it's something that's generally a bad idea, but if we can get enough money out of the place that we're intervening in, and we can effectively make it worthwhile.
Who's we? Who's we? You speak in French? Are you on the Epstein flight logs? No. You don't even leave your house, right? I don't think you're on the Epstein flight logs. Let's be real. But it's so funny because like, he's like, oh yeah, we're getting money out of this. It's like, are we? Are you? Is anybody in your audience a part of this we? Or is the we an increasingly smaller number of like the global financial elite who may or may not be directly related to Jeffrey Epstein or may or may not have had their names all over the Epstein files? Because I don't think anybody in your chat or mine is actually a C-suite executive at any number of different corporations that will benefit from this. I don't think they're major stockholders in any of these corporations, whether it be the military industrial complex or whether it be the oil and gas giants or whether it be any kind of like developmentary project that might go into Venezuela and engage in asset stripping, you're not a part of the team, little bro. So what is this we, right? Because remember, one thing that a lot of people also fail to comprehend is this was the reason why everyone was mad about Iraq at the end of the day, because Iraq was sold on a lie. Oh, we're going to democratize, but everybody quickly understood that it was about oil, and people got mad. So why did people get mad about the whole reality that Iraq was about oil? Why did people still get mad? Is it because they were woke moralizers who thought, well, no, that's Iraqi oil, they should keep it? No, the Americans got mad because they realized that it wasn't for them. Okay. So why do you think this is going to be any different? What leads you to believe that Trump is going to do any sort of redistributive policy that many of your followers would already consider to be socialist anyway, right? With any of the bounties that the American empire will secure from Venezuelan natural resources
for us, then I'd be okay with it. Does that make sense? So it's all about whether we're making money off of it. That's my primary function, is that
like whether we're making money off of it. Hey, dummy, that's how the Iraq war was sold too, to the population that was listening. Like that's how it was sold as well. When people were like, oh, okay, well, there's at least oil there, at least maybe we're getting oil. We're just like looting the Iraqi coffers, right? Did you see a crumb of that? No.
I think about, is this good for Americans? And if it is, if it's making us money, it's beneficial for us, it's lowering our costs.
Bro said we are making money, so it's fine to invade anyone. Yeah, I mean, look, that's already obviously a morally repugnant position to have. But it's also doubly stupid because it's not even correct. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, across the board, I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, it's actually good if they were like invading Venezuela and like stealing all of that revenue and stealing those natural resources and then distributing it back to the American population. Because then you're basically in Nazi territory at that point, right? You're like, okay, might makes right. We get to dominate the world and we get to redistribute all of those super profits back to the average American. The unfortunate problem is that probably will be infinitely more popular than whatever the Trump is doing right now. But the entire point of imperialism is not so that there is that redistributive policy to the in-group that is designed as like the people that are worthy of receiving these super profits. The entire point of imperialism is that it is a necessity under capitalism, under global capital, as profit rates decline, right? As profit rates decline, global capital looks to new markets that they can continue dominating. And they do this so that they can consistently eke out profits wherever they can. But that doesn't actually happen for you. That's not something that you'll see from, right? You're not going to see the benefits of that at all. That's never going to come into your pocket in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, you're going to get destroyed. What you will experience on the receiving end of this, if you are a working class individual in the United States of America, is NAFTA, right? America dominates other countries in its periphery, and then there is a crop of new labor that they can basically force to work for pennies on the dollar, and it's in close proximity. So obviously, they just take the labor away from U.S. soil and they move it over there. Okay. And you just sit around and you think, why don't I have a job anymore? Then you start self-medicating because you maybe f your back up, right? And you take some Oxycontin because, again, the Sackler family, Purdue Pharmaceutical, needs to make money off of you, right? So they just put you in lifelong medical debt while simultaneously destroying your brain chemistry and cause you to develop a deep, crippling opioid addiction. This happens to many people's immediate family members in this country. And you sit around and you wonder, why is everything so why is everything getting and you think to yourself, okay, well, at least we're dominating some Venezuelans, right? Like maybe that's a good thing. No, it's not. It's the same cycle playing itself out again and again and again. And the moment that you lean into it in your desperation through all of the banality that you are experiencing in your day-to-day misery, is the moment where you become a hog. It's that simple. You lean into the hog lifestyle, telling yourself that this is somehow actually beneficial for me. This is somehow helping me. It's not. And then when someone tells you that it's actually not beneficial to you, you get mad. You're like, you must be a dirty commie. You know? Why are you ripping the wool from in front of my eyes? Why are you telling me that this is not, like, I'm trying to engage in some self-soothing behavior and you're sitting over here telling me that this is actually not going to be beneficial for me? It's up. But yeah, this 1 minute and 17-second video is a perfect encapsulation of how this works, how this cycle works. This time it'll be different because he goes from saying, one, faulty premise established. This is good for us. This is good for America. This is good. Right?
So it's
we will get money. We will make money. It's no different than Howard Butler going on Fox News and saying the GDP increased by 4.3% in the month of December. That means every American is going to be 4.3% richer.
Money off of it. That's my primary function, is that I think about, is this good for Americans? And if it's making us money, it's beneficial for us, it's lowering our costs, or there's some other downstream effect of it, then yeah, I'd be okay with it. But us just going over there and doing it for no reason, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Hey, that's what it was. Iraq was just going over there and doing it for no reason. In a way, this is the most like pathetic liberal assessment that you can arrive at, right? A liberal is a person who thinks every war but the current one was unjustifiable. A liberal is a person who thinks every civil rights movement except for the current one was good, right? And in some ways, he's doing this exact same thing. He's doing the same exact song and dance that I've heard from liberals over and over again when it's actually a Democrat in charge, and they're also continuing American empire, right? He is basically saying, all the previous ones were just dumb. They were just for no reason, but this is for good reason. We get to make money here. Oh, really? Do explain to me how we will get to make money here, this and why this is different than the Iraq version of what took place,
I don't think so. So yeah. And but that's really that's my viewpoint on it. That's what I think. No more pointless wars, period. Economical, logical interventions are fine. Yeah, exactly. And even about
the entire Yale and Harvard graduated MBA team of brilliant minds that actually put together the Iraq invasion and basically designed out how they were going to steal Iraq's natural resources, specifically its oil. Literally years prior to the invasion of Iraq, by the way, those guys were just stupid. No, they weren't. They were very smart, as a matter of fact. And so are these guys. Make no mistake. Yeah, sure, I joke about Trump being a moron all the goddamn time, but the team around him is still obviously brilliant. They're evil, okay? That's the difference. Like, there are still intelligent people in Donald Trump's team. There are intelligent people in the State Department, people that have spent their entire lives trying to figure out exactly how we are going to dominate the planet. Make no mistake, it would be a huge, huge mistake to undermine your enemy's intellect, to think that your enemy is actually stupid. Brilliant is a stretch. No, there are definitely brilliant people working in his teams. Of course there are. Okay? Of course there are. What are you talking about? These guys are some of the best educated people on the planet. Of course there are, intelligent people there. They're just evil. They're just straightforwardly evil. And if you want to think about like their stupidity, sure, they're not like they're intelligent in the specific field that they work in, but they might not be so intelligent when it comes to understanding the world or what the best outcomes are, or they might be deluded into thinking that they're actually doing this for America, right? Here, let's take a look at what his foreign intervention take was.
The people here, they're up until 2 a.m. Monday through Sunday. Doge did not recognize weekends. We're working all the time.
What inspired you to drop out of Harvard to do this?
Because you've grown up your entire life just like every other kid, and you've seen your entire country be sold out for foreign interests, foreign wars, and foreign companies. And you're finally tired of it. And you're a goddamn American, and it's time to start acting like it. That's why.
There's a lot of reform that's needed. I think the value of this and the impact here is than anything you could learn in a classroom.
Yeah, I mean, there are many instances where he has actually presented himself as an anti-interventionist because that was how Trump presented himself, right? There were so many people, because this is much larger than Asmongold. I'm using him as a vehicle to deliver an argument against the flip-flopping nature of MAGA. Okay, for a lot of you, I know you get stuck on the fact that it's Asmongold because his audience comes in here and constantly derails the stream, and you get annoyed, yada yada yada. But the reality of the matter is, this is an assessment not about just Asmongold, but the very nature of MAGA. Okay, this is hogwatch through and through.
Civilian lives? Yeah, who gives a shit? Like, I mean, if the thing is that if you're going to do this stuff, people are going to get killed. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen for sure.
Yeah. The Iraq war was just for stupid shit for no reason, okay? Whereas the Venezuelan military campaign was actually for good reason, right? Is actually for good reason. I think another reason why a lot of people get annoyed when I do this kind of thing is because it sucks to see so many long-term community members who have like pivoted into Hogistan takes, you know, being full tilt hogs. And I think a lot of people get annoyed to see that as well, because there's a ton of people in here that when it comes to foreign policy they're hogs, right? That's just the reality. They're like very progressive on other stuff. They're like, oh yeah, I want to have healthcare. And they can't connect the two things. Like, part of the reason why we're not spending any money on you is because we're spending money on this. We're spending money on endless military campaigns so that this douchebag can actually make money. Okay? This douchebag can get higher profits. But you can't comprehend that, so you delude yourself into thinking that American military and American security, okay, NatSec is also the lie that they actually traffic this kind of argument through. You go, oh, well, you just love China, I think, or you love Russia, or you just want China and Russia to dominate the world, and that's why you're saying this stuff. Meanwhile, America, baby, hell yeah. And it's like, no, brother, I want everyone to do right. Okay, I want everyone to have a good life. I want you to have a good life. I want all my haters to have a good life. I want them to all have health care. I want them to be able to go to college. I want them to be able to put their children through college. I want them to have a good job with good wages, with good benefits. I want them to be able to own a home. These are the things that I want. And I know that the more we focus on this, the more we focus on deluding ourselves as to why the American government is engaging in these kinds of military actions. The more we hyper focus on this stuff and try to justify it to ourselves, the more we move away from that reality, the more we move away from ever achieving said reality. Okay? That's it. It's pretty crazy.